Hi, Jack. All right, we are in the basement in my garden layer, and we're gonna check out the seeds from week 1 and plant week 2 seeds, okay? So let's check out what we got going for week 1. Okay, week 1 seeds. You see them through there? Aren't they cute? We have got onion seeds. Look at those little baby sprouts all coming up nice and green now. That's awesome. Those are red Weatherfields and red Weathersfield and yellow sweet Spanish onions. Nothing else. Oh no, I lied. Look at spotted bee balm is coming up. Can you see those little guys? Yay! Oh, here's a cute little one. There she is. Okay, so bee balm's coming up. Raspberry daiquiri Auguste. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little one in there coming up too. And that is about it. On here, you're gonna notice there's a lot of algae and stuff. That's from this top being on and creating moisture. I'm gonna take it off now so that kind of goes away. And then it's just kind of a hazard of having a moist condition in my basement. I don't know. It doesn't ever really hurt anything, but it does kind of look a little funky. Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, and then down here, this is my container for, oh, do you see that right there? Woo! Those are my geranium seeds that I just found outside and brought in and planted. And here is my main crop of onions. I'm gonna keep that top off now that they have mostly germinated. And they're gonna start get going too. So how exciting. We have got onions and some perennial flowers and a first geranium up. Week 1 is doing beautiful. Now it's time to plant week 2. Okay, step number 1 on my seed starting thing for week 2 is to go and look at week number 2. I'm starting a whole bunch of herbs and my violas and pansies and a couple flowers for my perennial garden. I highlighted thyme because I went through and pulled all my seeds I want to use, and I actually don't have a single thyme seed, which is super weird, but I guess I used them all last year and didn't remember. So I need to get some thyme seeds when I do my seed order this week. And then I pulled the rest of my seeds down here. So I have got 3 viola pansy families. This Late of Fire and Blue Perfection from Baker Creek Seeds. And this pansy Got the Blues from Botanical Interests. I really like blue flowers, like true blue. They're kind of hard to come by, so I always try those. I'm doing Columbine. I've got the Giant McKenna mix and Rocky Mountain Blue. I have a little bit of Columbine out in the yard, but it's such a little amount. It needs to be more in a mass to really make a statement, so I'm going to do some more of those. And then these are both new for me this year. I've never grown Scabiosa, this pincushion flower. So I got this pretty blue one. And I've never grown balloon flower either. So I'm trying both of those. So apparently I really have a blue theme going this week. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my parsley. So I've got Italian giant parsley. These are ones that I got from our local library seed bank. I've got parsley single Italian and parsley triple curled parsley. This is an M.I. Gardner seed, and this one is from Burpee. And I'm gonna try these two both for the first. Actually, I tried cumin last year, and it germinated and then died out. I never really got a plant off of this. Russian Tarragon I've never tried before, so I'm gonna try both of these this year. And then I am going to do, this is marjoram, which I like. It's a really pretty herb. Rosemary, which I've done before. This is called Horseal or Ella Campaign. I am going to grow this to put around the chicken coop, I think. I've tried this once before and it didn't work. Same thing with this mountain mint. I've tried once before and didn't work. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these seeds started today for week 2 seeds. Okay, the first seeds I'm going to do are my pansies. And I have these containers here. I bought them off of Amazon, I think, and they have a whole bunch of trays, smaller plug trays. I'm not super fond of these. They're actually short too. I don't know if you can tell, but they're kind of narrow. They don't quite go into the bottom of a regular 10-20 tray, so they don't wick up very well. I'm not super happy with them, but I have a bunch. So I had to find a way to make them useful so that I'm not wasting them and buying more things, which is more expensive. I really like to reuse, recycle, try and take what I have and make it work. So what I found works is I cut them down a little bit and they fit inside these old rimmed cookie sheets I have. So I just put them on here instead of in a 10-20 tray in the bottom, and I water into this right here. So then the bottom makes contact with the water and they stay well hydrated. So these are perfect for things that I'm just going to plant one time and not up pot or move anywhere. So these pansies will go out fairly early because they're cold tolerant. So I'm going to fill these up nice and high with soil, get it wet, make sure it's still topped off, and plant one seed per cell. And then these will be my pansies for the year. So let's get going. Okay, again, I got my tub down here. I'm putting it right inside my tub, filling it up with pre-moistened soil. You can see these are filled all the way up to the top, if you can see. I'm going to put them on here, and we're going to put our seeds in there after I wash my hands. We're going to start with the pansies, Got the Blues, and then move on to Viola, Blue Reflection, and lastly, these Violas Laid of Fire. So you can see I've got 1 or 2 of these seeds in each one. I'm not planting more than that unless it's by accident because, like I said, these are really somewhat shallow and I don't want to have to up pot these violas before they go out in the spring. So I'm putting them in here and I'm just pushing down to make sure they've got contact with the soil. Maybe scooching just a little bit over them. But I'm really kind of wanting them to just do their own thing. So I'm going to put a cover on these and put them up and move on to the next thing. Okay, for tray number 2, I used 2-inch pots like I did last week. They're going to be inside of this 10-20 tray. And these I can put more than 1 seed in. So what I'll do is I will start things like flowers with maybe 4 or 5 or 6 seeds in here, and I will up pot them if I have to. But these are something I'm going to plant in a group anyway. So as long as they don't get too big, I don't mind planting them in smaller containers, a couple of seeds in here, and then plant them as a group, or if they get too big, I can always thin them out and plant them. I don't know how that's going to work because I've never grown a couple of these flowers, so we're just going to see. So the first thing I'm going to do is make up labels for this whole tray and get them in here, and then I'll start planting my seeds. You do not want to skip the step of labeling your things. Again, I might say this in every seed starting video. You will forget what this is. It will come up and look different. It will come up and look similar to another kind and you won't remember. It's better to have them labeled. Now for these kind of things, I'm not going to label every 2-inch pot. I'm going to label rows of pots and I go down. So I'll do 4 of something, or I'll do 2 and 2 and put a label here and here. But every row will get a label so that way I don't forget what's what. Okay, so my tray is all planted. And then what I do is after I plant my seeds, I don't know if you can see this basket back here, but I line them up in this basket once I've planted them. I don't put them back in my regular seed storage so that I know whatever's in my seed storage, which is that dresser back there, that stuff I haven't planted yet. Things I have planted are over here. Even if I empty the seed packet, I put the empty seed packet in here. And then when I am done planting seeds for the season, I'll go ahead and refile all that. I'll make note of any empty packets, which I should have done with my thyme from last year, and then I'd have thyme seed. And then I'll go ahead and refile everything and kind of clean up my seed stuff at the end of the season. So I planted my seeds in here. They are mostly smaller seeds. They're mostly very shallowly planted. I have found the biggest mistake I make planting seeds is I plant them too deep. I guess think about in nature when a seed is growing. it's not being planted at any kind of depth. A seed that is normally growing is being dropped from a plant, so it's not super, super deep. Each packet will have instructions on how deep to plant them. But as a general rule, most of these were very, very small. Some were even surface sown. Some were just underneath the surface of the soil. The only ones that were decently large were these Scabiosa seeds, were a little bit bigger. So I probably planted them down under like 1/4 inch. And the cumin seeds were a little bit bigger too, so the same thing. So this is tray number 2. I'm going to put that up over here on under the grow lights, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, this is week 2 seeds planted then. I've got that whole tray right there. Those are all pansies. I got 3 different varieties. And then over here, I have this whole tray of 2-inch pots. And this is a whole bunch of my first rounds of herbs and then some more perennial flowers. Those are all down here. I don't know if you can kind of tell. They're under these lights that are better for seeds to germinate. I don't know if I'm buying all that. I guess there's probably science behind it. But I have a couple of them. So this is week 2. Week 1's onions and geraniums, and then my week 1 second tray up here. And I wanted to show you just this one thing while I'm up here. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but these are all very moist. These back ones, this top layer is starting to dry out. So I'm going to water this whole tray, but I'm also going to take a spray bottle and I'm going to wet the top layer of this. You can see, I don't know why. It might be like an angle it's sitting on, but that back middle seems to be drying out. So I'm going to spray those down, water the whole thing. And then we have got 2 weeks worth of seeds started. Yay!